everyone, this is Theodore from Ocean Giants, and welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the most greatest warships ever to sail the seas, the USS Johnston. On the morning of October 25th, 1944, during the battle off Samar, USS Johnston found herself facing one of the most powerful naval forces ever assembled. Charging toward her were 4 Japanese battleships, including the largest battleship ever built, the Yamato, along with heavy cruisers and destroyers under the command of Vice Admiral Tokyo Kurita. Sorry for the mispronunciation if I pronounced his name wrong. USS Johnston was a Fletcher-class destroyer, built for speed and versatility, not to take on a battleship. Yet Commander Ernest E. Evans understood what was at stake. Behind his ship were 6 escort carriers and their lightly armed escorts. If the Japanese fleet broke through, thousands of American sailors would be in grave danger. Without waiting orders, Evans turned his ship toward the enemy and ordered full speed ahead. As the Johnston closed the range, she opened fire with her 5-inch guns, while launching a spread of 10 torpedoes. 10 torpedoes is a lot, by the way. It's a humongous. If all of them would have hit, it would be a humongous amount of damage. Several of those torpedoes struck the heavy cruiser Kimono, blowing off her bow and forcing her out of the battle. As it claimed here, its devastating strike. It was the astonishing blow delivered by a single destroyer against a vastly superior fleet. The Japanese quickly returned fire. Shells from battleships, cruisers, and landed around the Johnston, sending massive columns of water high up in the air. Before long, direct hits crippled the ship, knocking out power, damaging her engines, and killing or wounding many members of her crew. Even heavily damaged, Johnston refused to lead the fight. The crew continued firing every gun that still worked, laid smoke to shield the escort carriers, and repeatedly drew enemy fire away from the vulnerable ships they were protecting. Alongside other American destroyers, the destroyer escorts, Johnston helped throw the Japanese attack into confusion. Admiral Kurita ultimately decided to withdraw, ending what has become one of the most extraordinary naval actions in naval history. USS Johnston was eventually overwhelmed and sank later that morning. Of her crew, 186 men were lost, while 141 survived after enduring hours in the sea before rescue. Commander Ernest E. Evans went down with his ship. For his extraordinary courage and leadership, he was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, becoming the first Native American in the United States Navy to receive the nation's highest military decoration. More than 80 years later, the story of the USS Johnston remains one of the most greatest examples of courage at sea. She didn't defeat the Japanese fleet alone. But her crew proved that determination, leadership, and sacrifice could change the course of a battle against overwhelming odds. This is Theodore from Ocean Giants. And remember, there's always another story waiting out at sea.